Welcome to the August edition of the Modern Work Pulse. My name's Dan. I'm the Training and Adoption Practice Manager at IComm. I'm here led by a mentality of getting everyone on board technology and teaching everyone how to get the most out of it. Today's agenda, we're going to talk first about organizing chaos. Georgia's going to take us through Planner and To Do this month. After that, I'll take you through a pretty brief feature roundup. What I've done for this month's feature roundup is distill it down to just a couple of the most relevant user features and a couple of really exciting ones that I've been waiting for. So we're not going to harp on too many of the roadmap updates. We've just got a couple of really cool ones. But most excitingly, we're going to talk about Copilot. This is probably the hottest topic in modern work, and every third LinkedIn post at the moment is talking AI or Copilot, and I've got some exciting stuff to show you. So stick around because we'll talk about Copilot a little bit and I'll show you some cool things. Enough of me for now. Without further ado, I'm going to hand straight over to Georgia, who's going to talk to us about Planner and To Do. So take it away, Georgia.
Yeah, beautiful. Hi, everyone. So I'm Georgia. For those of you that haven't met me, I'm one of the training and adoption specialists at IComm. So I work with Dan and Dale on all kinds of training and adoption excitement and madness at times. I'm driven by customer success. I like to think of myself as IComm's resident Clippy. If you know, you know. I'm the devoted parent of two cats, one clever and one orange. And I didn't win trivia last week, as Dan has kindly added to this slide to remind me, but I've been studying ever since and I achieved a third place, a very respectable third place this morning. So today, I'm going to be taking you through organizing chaos. So these days when we work from home, hybrid working and all of the like, you're going to be bombarded no matter where you are with all kinds of different bings and dings trying to get your attention. It can be really hard to get on top of. People want to get everything from you all the time. You can be more accessible than ever. Most people probably swear by one singular organization tactic, and I'm not here to tell you to bin that one and move on. It's all about whatever works the best for you. That is the organization tactic that will work. But I do want to start with one quick question. Who here still writes their to-do list down on a piece of paper? Go on, you can stick your hands up. I've got Dan, I can see Martin, I can see a few other people. Lots of you, right? And look, here's the thing. If you don't, you probably have in the past. And if you haven't, then you've probably been told to by someone. So lots of people are writing to-do lists down somewhere, right? We like to keep it organized. We like to have it on a bit of paper. Now, what happens if you lose that piece of paper? Has anyone done that? I can see a little bit of laughter crackling through. Look, it's pretty shattering if you lose your to-do list, right? It's the worst. This is the reason why I have started to use Planner and To Do as much as possible. I work hybrid and I have left my notebook at home every time I've gone to the office, and I've left it at the office every time I've worked from home. I feel like I've left it in my car. I've probably left it at customer sites. I just lose things constantly. But the things that I always have on me is my phone and my laptop. And because of that, I've started using Planner and To Do, which is a lot more exciting. So let's get started with To Do. So Microsoft To Do is an app on its own. It's completely standalone. And this is essentially the digital version of your piece of paper, right? Now, I'm currently on my day, but I'm going to flick over to tasks. This list here is where my to-do list would typically sit, right? So I need to add a brand new task. I type it in and I hit enter. So if I need to go and send, send updated form to Dale, I'm going to write in something like that, hit enter, it's on my to-do list. Now, it's kind of big whoop at this stage, but it works really, really well across multiple formats. So for example, and I'm really hoping that the technology gods are with me today, if I go here, I've got my iPhone up here. I can also go to the Microsoft To Do app, which you can see right here. And if that one opens up, I can go and add my task directly from here. So I'll just go add task, type it in exactly the same, and it will immediately appear on that task list. So if I just go with new task like that, I hit return, and you can see it's already popped up on my computer in the background right there. Now, if you are an iPhone user, this is something that I really like. There's a widget available for that as well. So if you're not across widgets already, just long press, you'll see a little plus in that top corner. Go and add a brand new one in. And in there is a to-do widget. You can change it so it's add a task. I literally tap this huge button and then I start typing and I can add my new task to my to-do list. So this is my version of that piece of paper that I kept losing and leaving everywhere. So I can go and, say, what would I say, buy new notebook because I've left it somewhere again. Oh, a little bit of a bummer when you can't type, isn't it? There we go. And I can hit return. And once again, that is on my computer already. So by using the combination of the phone app from Microsoft To Do and the desktop app, I can keep myself organized that way really, really well. So if you don't want to use it on your phone, if you've got an Android, it's still available there. You can also access it via the browser. And if anyone's using the newer versions of Outlook, you may have noticed this little button at the top here will actually open up that to-do list down the side of your email inbox. So you can use it right there. Now, there's lots of lovely little integrations. There's not enough time to go through all of them today. But in addition to having tasks, you'll see that you have this My Day section. I find this really useful because when we have a bunch of tasks, like even if I just go and look at, all the ones assigned to me, important, planned ones, it's a lot, right? But if I go to My Day, it's completely empty. Or at least it is when you start your day. If you click the little light bulb right here, you have a light bulb moment. It's going to give you suggestions based on sort of things that are coming up, things that might already be due, things that you've recently added. And you can go and add any of these to your day by clicking the little plus button right next to them. So if I need to schedule a one-to-one, I'm going to click the plus and it's going to appear in my day. And that way you don't have to be overwhelmed. You can just look at the things you've planned for your day and sort of tick them off as you get through them. Now, I haven't been sharing my computer sound, but I'll just share it now so you can hear that lovely little bing that you get when you do complete one. Gives you a nice little ding and you're like, oh, I did it. That's lovely. Isn't that good? So Tasks, really, really good app to be using. It syncs with your inbox. You can use it on your phone. You can use it on your desktop. And to be honest, that's probably enough for most people. There's a lot of apps that do the exact same thing though. So one thing I really like about Tasks is you can go in here and you can actually create your own lists. So this one is one I created earlier by clicking New List, giving it a title. I like to start with an emoji because it puts them in line really well. So we're just going to go sunglasses and then, I don't know, cool stuff because I'm really creative on the fly. There we go. So that's added a nice little emoji icon at the front there. If I wanted to share this to-do list, I can just click this button at the top here and it will prompt me to add people to it. So the way you can do it, you can send an email out or you can just copy a link, which to be honest, I find a lot easier. I copy that link to my clipboard and then I can jump into Teams and share that with whomever. You can see it's a shared list by this little icon here, like this one here, and you can use that to coordinate with a couple of other people. This is great if you've got something like a grocery list that you share with your partner or anyone that you work with in the office. Maybe you need to take it in turns to buy snacks to go into the kitchen, right? It's really good like that. I think that it's a very useful tactic. Now, another great thing I like about having this on my phone, not in a notebook that lives at my desk or my office or my car or wherever I've left it, is that if I have that sort of sit up in the middle of the night and go, I forgot to do something, oh no, what am I going to do? And then I stress about it all night instead of doing anything about it. Now I can just whip out my phone, which let's be honest is always on me, and I can add something to the to-do list, put it out of my mind, sort of delete it for now. Pick it up in the next day, be able to go to my tasks, find it, add it to my day, get it done. So this is a really good way to just offload that information, get it out of your brain and, deal with it later without having to constantly remind yourself of it. So you can use this to create lots of different things and you'll see there's lots of categories here. You can mark them as important. Anything that you've planned. So if you've given it a due date, you're going to be able to see, and you can actually see, these are things that are planned for later in the week. These are things later than that. This one's tomorrow, but I've already done it. All kinds of stuff will appear in there. So if you do want to muck around with any of the settings here, I recommend you have a little look.
Just ignore it.
I'm trying. Okay, so yeah, muck around with your settings, get it to working how you like. You don't have to actually view all these different ones. Now, like I said, it's going to work really seamlessly depending on, no matter who you're working with. So if I go into my shared list here from my account, as opposed to Joan Jett's account, I can also come in and make updates and things like that. I can mark off, the one-to-one and the intro to Bruce, and that will also be updating for Joan in the background. So While you can share a list like this, one of the better ways to work within it is actually another app that syncs up really nicely. So if you want to work like this with your team, I'll show you how to do that. So we're going to open up Teams, which is here, and we're going to go into our team. So Dale's team here is the team that we always use for training. I've got a nice little channel here called 365 Training. And if I want to create a to-do list that we can use really nicely in here, I can add one as a tab at the very top. So where you see this plus, adding a tab, it's like introducing a new app into the channel that you're working in. I'm going to click there, and I'm looking for one called Task by Planner and To Do. Should be right there. If you can't see it, that's okay. You can just start typing it. It should appear pretty quickly. So Task by Planner and To Do will prompt you to use a task that is either a planner list that is either brand new, or you can use an existing one that's already been created. It will give you the option to post to the channel about it, lets you pick between existing plans. You can see we've got a few different demo ones named tasks. But if I want to go back, I can show you the one that I've already prepared. So under M365 Adoption, I've set up a nice little planner for this team. Now, if you find this view a little bit too cramped, you can just click the little arrow here or right click on that. You can expand the tab. You can also pop it out. I quite like to pop it out, but I'm just going to expand for now. So you can see here that I have set up this task list. It's looking pretty full on right now. So I'm going to make it look a little bit more familiar by clicking on list. This is a huge task list that we've put together as an adoption playbook, right? We've got all these different types of training. We've got champion sessions, stakeholder engagement workshops, the whole works here. Now, where this really shines is you can go into your board, and this is where you can start introducing buckets. So each of these different columns here is a bucket, and you can create more as you scroll over to the side just by going Add New. Give it whatever title you like, and then you can actually just drag and drop different tasks in between the buckets. So for example, if I see admin training here, that should probably go into training. I'm just going to click and drag, and now that one is in training. Each of these tasks you can click into, and you can edit them. So in addition to changing the name, great, you can assign people as well. So if I'm looking at this one, I'm thinking Bruce needs to be involved in that too. Easy done. Bruce will get that task added to his list. You can add these little tags. By default, they're just named after colors. But if you want to go in, you can change the name of them. So if you want to say, important or something like that, you can go and change the name, and then every instance of that color orange tag is going to be labeled important. So you can use that to easily sort of visually identify what you've got. You can change the bucket from here. It's probably the more tedious way to do it, but you can. You can also mark progress off. So I can say in progress. I'm going to bump up that priority up to important. That will also show on the card here as this little exclamation mark. If you change it to urgent, it'll look like that with a bell. You can make these tasks repeatable. You can give them due dates. Any of the repeating elements are very familiar if you've used Outlook. So if you wanted to make it on the third Wednesday of the month or something like that, you'd go monthly, and then you'd get to go in and be more specific in here under custom. So lots of stuff you can do in there, make those repeatable tasks really easy to manage. You don't have to overthink it. Now, one really useful thing is that if you don't want to go to all the effort of having to, go through and add all these labels and all this, you can easily click in the ellipses and copy a task or move it. Copying a task is literally going to create a new one. You can put it in a different bucket if you want. So if I need to put admin training for different locations across several buckets, and my buckets are locations, that's one way you can do it. I'm going to go in and put documentation in. I'm going to give my new task a different name. So I'm going to call it admin documentation. Beautiful. And you can decide what you're going to include as well. So if I want to include the assignment, the progress, the dates, all of that information, I can leave that in there, but I can also remove parts of it if I want. So if I want to do it without the people I've assigned, I can then hit copy, and that new version of it, that copy, has appeared under documentation with all the same tags and urgency, but without anyone assigned, because that's more of a Dale kind of job. So I'm going to put it against Dale. There we go. By using all of these different tactics with the planner, it's really easy to be able to do lots of complex tasks as a team all together. Even better is, you look at this is pretty overwhelming too. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that that is the easiest thing to read unless you're a project manager and you're used to looking at this detail. You can go ahead and filter. And I'm going to go, and instead of filter by due date, I'm going to filter by assignment, and I'm going to filter by assigned to Joan Jett. Much less stressful already, right? So I can see here, I've got send out training survey, I can see champions training, and I can scroll through and see all the training that I've signed up for. In addition to the ability to filter, you can also access this chart. Charts are really good if you're in a project management role and you need to see things easily, like how many priority, what sort of buckets are we using. Well, this one that I really like, the members. So we can see here that we might be overloading Georgia and Joan in this instance. Maybe we could get Dale to take on some of their tasks. And it's so easy to see that kind of information just from a glance. So that's the chart there. You can also view schedules. If you've got everything scheduled in, it'll show you on a calendar, and you have all the tasks listed down the side here. So this is fantastic, right? But if you have several of these, it can be a little bit annoying to have to sort of go in and out, go look in this one and then go back to Teams, and then you're going to have to go back to Teams, go look in a different one. And then I'm like, oh, yep, there's another one. And what am I assigned in here? So what Teams actually does is it will collect all of these for you in your own personal Task by Planner and To Do app. If you don't have it in your sidebar, you can find it by clicking here. Try searching for it. It is a Microsoft app. You might have had it pinned at some point. If you can't find it there, you can just go to Apps. Down the bottom, search for Task by Planner. Sorry, it's searching workflows. There we go. So it's popped open here. I can hit open because I've already got it added. Otherwise, you'll just see add. It'll prompt you to install it. Task by Planner and To Do as its standalone app is all of the above, essentially. So if I look under tasks, I can see all of the new tasks that I've added today listed here nicely for me. I can actually open any of these I want and add more information. So you can add checklists and have like a mini checklist with inside a task. Mark that off as you go. And I'll show you one that already has one. Prepare for presentation. So I've created my document. I've applied a template. I just need to fill it in with new info. So I can say all of that, and then that's all updated. You can do that in To Do as well. Aside from tasks, I can also filter by assigned to me. And here is where I'm going to see all of the different things that have been assigned to me in my various different planners. So I can see, all these various different plans that I'm a part of, which plan they're in, what their priority is, if they've got due dates assigned. And, if I can even go through here and be like, oh yeah, I already did all the printer ink stuff, that's done, troubleshot that Wi-Fi, fantastic. Each of those that I tick off will be marked off like that. And other integrations are that it will pick up all of your flagged emails. So if you want to be able to catch up on those emails later, they're going to appear in this list too. So this does a really great job at grabbing all those different task lists that you've created all over the place and putting them all in one place. Now this has so many more integrations than I have time to really go through, but you'll notice that tasks that you've set yourself in in Loop will actually appear in here. And I don't have any that have appeared right now, but that's okay. You'll see those will appear as a shared plan down here as well, and they'll be marked as Loop on the end there. My to-do list, all my brand new lists and stuff like that, it's all available for me right here. So you can access either of these via the web, or you'll see even if you go into your own into your own to-do list, you'll be even able to see an assigned to me list. So these are all those same tasks that were in those different team plans. I mark them off once somewhere and they're going to get marked off everywhere. It's going to be nice and easy for me. So hopefully that's going to be able to help you get started on your organization journey. I know it will take a little while. And did anyone have any questions that they wanted to ask about Planner and To Do before I sign off?
I was just going to jump in just quickly. Planner has changed the way the sales team at IComm work because we're able to track everything that we have to send out to customers. We meet every week on it, but it's a great way to track what we have to do, what's due, when it's due, who's allocated to it, who's working on it. So we swear by it, I must say. And like I said, we meet every week and go through it all. And Planner is our one source of truth. So it's a great tool. There's a lot of ways you can use it, but we found a great way to use it for our sales team.
Beautiful. Thank you, Georgia. Once again, another fabulous presentation that has outdone what I'm about to go through. But what I'm going to talk about now is the what's new section. We're going to start talking about updates and exciting stuff. So nice and quick, like we did last month. I think everyone enjoyed it when we blasted through these without too much ramble. First things first, in Teams, we've got stream preview and playback embedded natively in a team and a channel. So users can now preview and play stream videos directly in a Teams chat or a channel without having to open them in a browser and going to stream. So you can see in the screen grab there that there's a stream video pasted in there. All you got to do is press play and it plays in that little thumbnail there. You can expand it, you can full screen it, but the benefit is that you don't have to click it, open the new window, and then go back. And it's all about making the most of the real estate that you've got available. So that's a really good one. There are a lot of people using Stream, especially for things like this where we record these meetings and these webinars. Being able to plug that directly into a chat and view that natively in there is definitely a time saver. So that's starting to roll out towards July, August. So if you haven't seen it yet, it shouldn't be too far off. The next one's a really exciting one. So this is a dedicated Teams 2.0 edition. So the Meet app, Microsoft Meet app, think of it as a dedicated space for organizing everything to do with your meetings. So Teams users soon will have this really nice dedicated space to manage their meetings and their meeting content. Like I said, the Meet app is this real centralized hub for all meeting activity and content, all squeezed into one. So this is rolling out exclusively on Teams 2 across desktop and web, so whichever version you're using. And it's going to, I guess, moving forward, once people start seeing it and utilizing it the right way, it's going to start serving as this destination for your sort of pre-meeting, during meeting, and post-meeting insights, content, action items, summaries, everything that you need. So pre-meeting, you'll see things like conversations or documents that have had previously that relate to that. Post-meeting, it'll summarize all of your agenda items and your action items and any documents that were shared in that meeting, all under that one little block. So you can see that there's the purple box highlighted there. So when you click on that, that'll give you all of that relevant meeting information underneath it. So that's currently rolling out now, a typical sort of staggered approach. So if you're using Teams 2, if you haven't seen that yet, within the next week or so, that should be there. You add it like every other app. So you just click on the apps button down the bottom on the left-hand side and type in Meet, and you should be able to plug that one in. This is my favorite update for the month. This one really, you know how the really small features usually excite me the most? Well, this is definitely one of those calendar enhancements within Teams. I get really frustrated at having to open an event to reschedule it. Why can't I just drag and drop? Great question. Glad you asked. Well, Microsoft have heard us. You don't need to do that anymore. If you need to reschedule an event in your calendar, you can just open the Teams calendar and drag and drop that to where you're moving it to. Sounds really silly that this is a big feature, but I guarantee you it's going to save you headaches and it's going to save you time. The amount of times I've opened a meeting that I need to reschedule, gone to search for a time, and then gone back to my calendar and then reopen the meeting, and all of the changes I might have made have gone because it hasn't auto-saved. It's causing some of these gray hairs, but that's not a thing anymore. So this is also currently rolling out. So if you're in Teams 2.0, you should see this by now. Really, really, really handy small feature, great user sort of update. The other one that I'm really loving is the ability to zoom in when you're screen sharing. So zoom in, zoom out, and restore to the original size when you're screen sharing. No more having to use things like, sort of pinch gestures or keyboard shortcuts to zoom in the whole screen. So previously in meetings, that was the only way that you could zoom in on content if you had a trackpad. Now there's a plus, minus, and restore button down the bottom. If I get my pointer, you can see here on the screen grab down the bottom corner, there's zoom in, zoom out, and restore to original size. So when you're sharing Excel spreadsheets, and we've all done it, you get the spreadsheet shared on your screen and you're all looking, yeah, I think I can see that number. You don't have to worry about it now. You can just click on the zoom in and bring that in for yourself. So it doesn't zoom in for everybody. This is just for your view. Another really small feature that I'm so glad that they've put in. The last update that I want to share that's really important is an update to the Azure AD. Now, this isn't going to be relevant to everyone on the call, but those that it is relevant to, this is an important one for you to know. So we're introducing Entra ID. So this is the new name for Azure. This is a really big evolution in the Entra product family. So again, if you know, you know. For those that are playing with Azure AD and all the Entra products already, Entra ID is quite simply a rebrand of Azure AD. All features, functionality, pricing, all of that remains exactly the same. It's just got a new logo and a new name. So that'll start rolling out and rebranding from late August towards that sort of November timeframe. This is all about bringing everything together under that one Entra product family. So those that do use it, if you're starting to see things like that popping up, don't freak out. All of your features and functionality will stay the same, but it's important for you to get across how that will now plug in to, how Entra ID will plug into the rest of the Entra product family, and how you can better utilize all of the features across Entra into your tenant. Should we get into the exciting stuff? This is what everyone's been waiting for. I've got the goodies for you today. We're here to talk about what on earth is Copilot and why are we so excited about it. So Copilot is really simplified. If I really wanted to make this make really quick sense for everybody, think of Copilot as ChatGPT. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know what ChatGPT is by now, right? So ChatGPT plugged in natively into the Microsoft 365 universe. It is a direct plugin built on the same large language models right there in front of you. So this is a seamless integration between those GPT LLMs and your Microsoft 365 applications that you use every day. This is all about improving productivity and efficiency. I really like the way it's coined. It's a really typical marketing sort of phrase to use, but it really encompasses it perfectly. In this is about spending less time in the weeds of what you're doing and being able to spend more time doing what you love about your work. So GPT, we've all used, we've all played with it. If you haven't, you should really get on board with it. You can use Copilot to help you build what you're doing as a starting point. So, that 40 minutes of work trying to summarize something, you get Copilot to do that so you can get back to the actual work that you enjoy doing. Think of it like a free digital intern that we're not going to get in trouble for not paying, even though you've got to pay for it. So Copilot works alongside you. It works for you and with you. It's embedded in all of the apps that millions of us use every day. Now we can be more creative in Word. We can be better with our analytics in Excel, express ourselves a bit clearer and quicker in PowerPoint. And really importantly, it works in Outlook and helps us with our collaboration in Teams. So Copilot is, like I said, that GPT plugin developed for business. So Copilot automatically inherits all the security, compliance, and privacy policies for 365. So those that are concerned about that side of the governance and the compliance, you don't need to worry about it. It automatically inherits all of that information. You don't need to stress about updating anything or changing anything. All the data that it uses is managed in line with Microsoft's current commitments and guidelines. And most importantly, this has come up a few times in some conversations, all of the Copilot large language models that it learns from do not get trained on your tenant data. So Microsoft have worked really hard to design this experience that what it's trying to do is prioritize human actions and decisions rather than the intelligence, the artificial intelligence making all of the decisions. You're always in control. You can always ask it for a different response. You can ask it for a better response. You can ask it to look at different sources of information. And most importantly, it's about you fact checking and reviewing and fine tuning. So it's not designed to take over your job. It's not designed to write the report for you. It's designed to help you with the report and start putting that together. And as Copilot learns about your processes, it will learn to become more sophisticated and respond to more sophisticated tasks and queries. So how does 365 Copilot work? For those that may not have used ChatGPT or any of those sort of chat-based AI applications yet, you interact with Copilot in the same way, and you do it via prompts. So prompts can range from really basic to really descriptive, depending on what you're after, what sort of a response you're looking for. And you give prompts in a natural language rather than keyword searches. So it's different from a Google search, right? So we know in a Google search or any typical search engine, you would use just keywords to find what you're after. So Copilot, like other GPT and AI-based chat models like that, you use natural language and it can decipher that. So you can give it prompts like, what's new from Georgia? Summarize this meeting so far and highlight agenda items that we haven't discussed yet. So it can have that level of intelligence where you can give it multiple requests in the one prompt. Suggest 5 interesting titles for a presentation on Copilot, and it gave me "Come Fly With Me." Who am I meeting tomorrow? So that'll pull your calendar for tomorrow and tell you who you're meeting, where you're meeting them. Write a follow-up email to the attendees of today's webinar, thanking them for attending. So it will give me some prompts specifically based on today's context of this webinar. And thank you for listening to Georgia's presentation on Planner and today's presentation on Copilot. Draft a list of key points to take away from this meeting, so it'll do my job for me where I don't have to summarize. And this is the really cool one here. Write an executive summary based on document A, document B. So I can highlight 2 specific documents to pull information from and summarize and create an executive summary for me based on that information. So again, you can start pointing it to specific information within your data. Let's see if the technology gods are on my side like they were with Georgia. And let's start by having a look at Copilot in Word.
Copilot in Microsoft 365 can help you unleash creativity at work. Imagine you need to create a rock-solid proposal to win the business, and you don't have time for writer's block. You can use Copilot to draft a proposal based on your customer notes in OneNote, as well as another internal document. Copilot scans the target files and gets to work, quickly generating a first draft with all the key details from the files you provided. Now, let's say you want this to look like your previous proposals. Copilot can give you a draft in the format you typically use. It inserts product images and pulls in relevant visuals from other files. You can include a short summary at the top of the document. And Copilot can make suggestions to strengthen the proposal, like adding an FAQ, which it will generate for you to refine.
That's pretty cool, right? Really short sort of snippet on how it's going to work. But hopefully we're starting to see that even in Word, that can really help us with those initial steps of writing documents that might typically take us quite a long time. How about PowerPoint? Copilot in PowerPoint next. Let's jump in there.
Let's say you're getting ready for your customer pitch meeting. Everyone has had a moment when they wish they could turn their proposal into a customer-ready presentation without having to start from scratch. Now you can. Using just your own words, Copilot can translate Word into PowerPoint. You can also translate PowerPoint into Word. Now you have a professional-looking presentation that you can hone and polish. Let's say you want to add a slide. Give Copilot some quick instructions. There it goes, ready for you to review. So this slide is too wordy. Let's ask Copilot to make it more visual. Give it a few seconds. And check this out. Copilot can even animate the slide. It gives it a professional design treatment in a single click. But it doesn't stop there. Copilot even generates speaker notes for all your slides. It's not only a time saver, it's helping you be a better presenter.
And Georgia's excited about the PowerPoint one because it means I'm going to stop asking her if she can help me make some slides look pretty. And what do you think of that color balancing there? And is that font right? Is there too many words on that? So that's going to be a really exciting one, I think. I'd safely imagine most of us struggle with making PowerPoint slides look a nice balance between information and not too many words. Outlook next.
Copilot in Outlook helps you stay on top of email. You have important emails to respond to. Copilot can help you separate the signal from the noise and give you hours of time back. It helps you triage your inbox so you can prioritize the most important emails. And Copilot helps you on the go in Outlook Mobile. It can summarize long email threads. You can draft a reply, use data from an Excel file, and Copilot will generate a reply for you. You can edit it. You can make it more concise, change the writing style, or add more context. Now all that's left to do is review the proposed response and hit send. It's a productivity game changer.
So again, some really exciting sort of additions on what it can help you with in Outlook. And, hopefully by now you're seeing that this is all here to, really help that sort of initial 10% of what you're doing, taking away the arduous work behind everything. But what about in a meeting? Now, this is cool. This is one that we've all been talking about for a while now, the way it plugs into Teams. So there's two ways. The first one that we'll go through is in a live meeting, and then we'll talk about business chat in Teams.
Copilot in Teams makes every meeting a productive one. Here, you're in a meeting with your team. You can ask Copilot to summarize what's happened so far. Copilot summarizes who said what and what points were made, capturing the spirit of the discussion. And as the meeting progresses, you can check in on where people stand. You can even ask Copilot what questions are unresolved. It is just amazing to see this happen in real time during a meeting. Business Chat works across all your data and apps to help you do things you've never been able to do before. Let's say you're preparing for a customer meeting. You start by asking Copilot to summarize all your recent customer interactions, meetings, content you've shared, any issues, and deliverables. Copilot works across your calendar, emails, chats, documents, and meetings to find all the pertinent information. Now you've got a concise summary, complete with citations. You can hover over the citations to verify sources or learn more. You know product lead times are likely to come up in the conversation, so you ask Copilot to help. Copilot combs through all your documents, meetings, emails, files, and company resources to get you what you need. With Copilot, you're always prepared.
So they're the features that we've got, that we've seen so far, and the integration that Microsoft have introduced to us so far. Hopefully that's giving you a bit of an insight into how that can take you some pretty big steps forward with your day-to-day work. Again, its ability to just respond to natural language and give you that initial kick of information. I can't be more excited about Copilot becoming general availability. I really do think it's going to change the way everybody works. And the ability the key point behind Copilot is getting back to the work that you want to be doing and focusing on what you're actually, what you enjoy about your job and the things that you love. I think it's pretty clear how it can help. So when it comes to things like timelines, pricing, what do we do from here? Look, it's still, it's a bit less foggy than it was a couple of months ago. We'll just call a spade a spade. We're talking general availability towards the end of the year. So, closer to November. At the moment, this is in a private preview with a small group of organizations globally where all the bugs are being ironed out. This is really important that Microsoft is spending the time ironing these bugs out in a real world scenario with real customers using it in day to day, so that there's no guesses as to how this needs to work and what the problems are. So we're pretty happy to wait a couple more months to make sure that we get a great user experience off the bat. And it looks like that's what we're going to get. We are right across all of the information. Again, fortunately, we're a Microsoft partner and we're across different programs with them. So making sure that we're on that leading edge with Copilot. So as more information comes through, we'll be sure to be feeding it through to everybody. When it comes to pricing, at this stage, it's looking like a license cost of $30 per user per month. Now, on face value, that's a pretty big number. Most people that I've spoken to about that, the reaction is a bit of shock at $30 per user per month. That's a lot. It sounds like a lot, but there's a couple of things that I want to make really clear. If you've got an organization of 4,000 people, you don't need 4,000 licenses. It's just not the way Copilot's going to operate. Copilot won't be a tool for everybody in the organization. The best way to get on board with Copilot is to, ironically, pilot it. You want to run a proof of concept and a pilot group across different units within the business to find out where the most benefit's going to be achieved from Copilot, and then you grow it from there. The other point that needs to be made really clear is $30 per user per month. That's $1 a day. If you think of what the Australian average hourly pay rate is, it's insanely quick to get that return on investment in a month. If I was to create an executive summary based on 5 documents that I've not really read too well, it would take me hours of reading and understanding those documents and then trying to translate that into an executive summary. Or I could ask Copilot to create the first draft of that executive summary for me and give me a Reader's Digest version. Immediately, that saved me 2 or 3 hours, which has immediately given return on investment for at least that month of that licensing. My point being, it's really quick to realize the benefit and the ROI of Copilot if it's being used the right way. Most people, not all, will realize that ROI by using it once. So don't be shocked and taken back by that licensing cost per user, because it's really quick to get that back. You won't actually find that it's an ongoing expense because of the amount of time saved and the amount of productivity that you're going to gain from that. It pays itself off immediately. If that pricing changes, if it gets rolled into any licensing bundles, we'll be sure to let you know as that changes, but that's the information that we've got at the moment. Once again, really glad. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for Georgia for her amazing presentation on Planner. We've got a really cool special guest next month where we've got a guest joining us to talk about ergonomics in the home office. So talking directly about modern working and hybrid work. How do you position your screens? What kind of a chair should you get? How often should you be standing up or sitting down? We've all had back pain in the last 3 years. Let's get rid of it. So we've got a special guest, Grant, coming to talk to us. He's an expert on ergonomics and the human body and how you can not break yours. And we've got some more really cool stuff to talk about Viva next month. And we'll see you soon. Thank you.